The courtroom was cold that morning. I sat on one side of the aisle. My ex-husband sat on the other, his new wife beside him in a cream blouse and heels that cost more than my monthly car payment. She was 23. I was 41. He wanted me to feel small, outmatched, replaced. They whispered to each other, loud enough for me to hear. She laughed. He smirked. Then the bailiff called us to rise. The judge walked in, black robe sweeping behind her. She glanced at the docket. Then she looked up straight at me. "Good morning, counselor. Good to see you again." I nodded. Professional. Calm. Then she turned to the new wife. "And Ms. Parker, I believe you clerked under Judge Navarro? He sends his regards. Called you my former mentor's star pupil, if I remember correctly." The color drained from her face. She froze. And I knew exactly why. Drop your location and the time right now. And if you love a good courtroom comeback, hit that subscribe button. Because this story is about receipts, and mine were airtight. Let me take you back 3 years. I was a family law attorney. Not a famous one. Not rich, but I was good. I worked nights to finish my mediation certification, while my ex complained I was never home. I picked our son up from daycare every single day, then went back to the office after bedtime to finish briefs. I made junior partner the same week I passed the bar's ethics exam. 3 weeks later, he served me divorce papers. Not in private, not with a conversation. He had them delivered to my office, in front of a client. The petition said I was emotionally unavailable and prioritized career over family. 1 month after that, he moved in with someone new. Her name was Jessica Parker. She was a paralegal at a rival firm. She'd worked under me during a short internship 2 years before. I remembered her, eager, a little too charming, and careless with other people's work. But I kept my head down. I signed the settlement. I took primary custody because he didn't fight it. Back then, he didn't want the responsibility. And I did what I always do. I kept records. Every email, every text, every pickup time, every school event, every promise he made and broke. I didn't know I'd need them, but I built my life like a case file. Evidence first, emotion later. That discipline was about to pay off. The motion came on a Tuesday, not by mail, by courier, right to my office reception desk during a client meeting. My assistant knocked, handed me the envelope. I opened it. Petition for modification of custody and child support. My ex was asking for majority custody. He claimed I was obsessed with work and that our son needed a stable 2-parent home. He wanted me to pay him child support. Why? Because his income had allegedly dropped. The filing was 12 pages long, professional, expensive. His lawyer was a guy I knew, Marcus Hale. Loud, loved the spotlight. Treated family court like a stage, but it was page 9 that made my stomach turn. Character witness, Jessica Parker. My former intern, his new wife. Her statement was 3 paragraphs of sugar. She called herself a maternal presence. She said I missed school events and sent curt texts about pickup times. She painted me as the cold career woman, herself as the warm, selfless stepmom. I sat there staring at her signature. Then my phone buzzed. A text from him. "See you in court. Bring your calendar. You'll need to clear some time for our son." I didn't reply. I didn't need to. I just opened my laptop and pulled up a folder I hadn't touched in months. The one labeled evidence. The pretrial conference was a disaster. It was a Zoom call. Me, my ex, his lawyer, and a court-appointed mediator named Linda. Marcus came out swinging. Ms. Torres has documented late pickups on 2 occasions. She missed the spring concert at school. She works 60-hour weeks and rarely attends parent-teacher conferences. I stayed calm. I took notes. The mediator's face softened toward him. "Counselor," she said, looking at me. "Children need presence, not just financial provision." I bit the inside of my cheek. Then Marcus played a recording. Jessica's voice, syrupy and sincere. "I just want what's best for Noah. He needs consistency, warmth, a mom who's actually there." The mediator nodded. I'm inclined to recommend a temporary custody adjustment pending the hearing. Let's give the child some stability. My screen went blurry for a second. I thanked her. Professional, even. The call ended. I sat in my office, door closed, fists clenched on the desk. I thought I'd lost before I ever walked into that courtroom. But then I looked at the binder on my shelf. 3 years of logs. Timestamps, photos, emails. They didn't know what I had, and I wasn't going to tell them until it mattered. I spent that night pulling my files. Every custody exchange for 3 years. Cross-referenced with photos, emails, and calendar entries. 127 pickups. On time, 2 delays. The first? A car accident on the interstate. I had the police report. The second? My ex changed the pickup time 1 hour before via text. I had the screenshot. The spring concert I missed? I'd offered to swap weeks so I could attend. He refused. In writing. I had that email too. I compiled it into a single document. Clean, chronological, impossible to argue with. Then I wrote a cover letter. 1 line. For your review prior to hearing. I sent it to Marcus at 9 p.m. He replied at 9:45. Noted. That was it. No bluster. No pushback. I knew I'd rattled him. But I wasn't done. Because if my ex was lying about my parenting, what else was he lying about? I pulled his financial disclosure form, the one where he claimed his income had dropped. And I started digging, because I'm not just a lawyer. I'm a mother who knows how to build a case. And this one was about to get airtight. He didn't take it well. The next morning, my phone exploded. Text after text. You're weaponizing paperwork. You're harassing me. This is exactly why Noah needs a stable home. I didn't respond. I screenshotted every message. Then it got worse. That afternoon, my son called me. He was crying. Mom, Dad says I have to live with him now. He says you're too busy for me. Is that true? My heart cracked. No, baby. That's not true. I'm fighting for you. I promise. He sniffled. Okay, I believe you. I wanted to scream, but I kept my voice steady. Because that's what he needed. 2 days later, Jessica posted on Instagram a photo of her and Noah baking cookies, matching aprons, bright smiles. The caption? Family first. Heart emoji. Hashtag stepmom life. The post was public, tagged with our city. Comments poured in from mutual acquaintances. You're such a natural. He's lucky to have you. It was a performance, a calculated show of stability, and it was working. The hearing was 5 days away. I had proof, but he had spectacle, and I knew which one played better on social media, so I did the only thing I could. I kept digging. Financial disclosures are standard in custody modifications. Both parties have to submit pay stubs, tax returns, proof of income. My ex claimed he was making $95,000 a year, down from $110,000. That's why he wanted me to pay him support. But something didn't add up. I checked his LinkedIn. 6 months earlier, he'd posted about a promotion. New title, new responsibilities. I subpoenaed his employer. The response came back in 2 days. Current salary, $142,000. A 30% raise. He'd lied, under oath. But I wasn't done. I ran a background check on Jessica. Routine due diligence. Her employment history showed she'd left the rival law firm 2 years ago. Quiet resignation. I dug deeper. State Bar website. Public records. Complaint number filed, closed with a letter of reprimand. The complainant's name? Mine. I'd reported her during her internship. She'd plagiarized a memo. Lifted entire paragraphs from my work and submitted them as hers. I'd filed an ethics complaint. She'd received a warning. No suspension. But it was on her record. She wasn't just his wife. She was my former intern. The one I'd had to report. And now she wanted revenge. I pulled the timeline. My ex started dating Jessica 1 month after he filed for divorce. But her LinkedIn showed she was still at the rival firm during our marriage. That meant they'd known each other while we were still together. I went back further. A year earlier, A document from one of my cases had been leaked to opposing counsel. It cost me a settlement. Nearly cost me my license. I'd never figured out how. Until now. I ran a metadata check on the file, created on my laptop, but accessed from an IP address I didn't recognize. I cross-referenced it. The address was registered to my ex's apartment building. Jessica had accessed my work files from his place, while I was still his wife. Then I found the text messages, pulled from discovery in the custody case. Him to her. She'll crack under pressure. She always does. Her to him. Good, she deserves it. This wasn't about our son. It wasn't even about money. It was about breaking me. She wanted revenge for the ethics complaint. He wanted control and a smaller support check. And they'd been planning it for over a year. I sat back in my chair. I wasn't angry. I was calm. Because now I knew exactly what to do. I didn't hire another lawyer. I represented myself. It was a calculated choice. It signaled confidence, command, control. I filed a counter-motion that night. Request for sanctions due to financial misrepresentation. A character evidence brief citing Jessica's ethics history. It was public record, fully admissible. And a petition for sole legal custody based on parental alienation. The phone call where he told our son I was too busy for him. I attached the custody log, the pay stubs, the metadata report, the state bar complaint, the text messages, everything. Then I sent a copy to the judge's clerk with a request for in-camera review. That means the judge sees it privately before the hearing. No surprises, no ambush, just facts. Then I made one more call. To Judge Navarro, Jessica's former supervising partner. Now a family court judge 2 counties over. I asked if he'd provide a sealed reference letter about the plagiarism incident. He didn't hesitate. She's appearing as a character witness? Yes, Your Honor. Then the court deserves the full picture. I'll send it today. I hung up. I sat at my desk, alone, silent. No music, no drama. Just 3 years of receipts and a conscience so clear it could cut glass. Hearing day. I dressed simply. Navy suit. No jewelry. Professional. I walked into the courtroom 10 minutes early. My ex and Jessica were already there, sitting together, matching business attire. The picture of stability. She leaned into him, whispered something. He smirked. They thought they'd already won. The bailiff called us to rise. Judge Brennan entered. A woman in her 50s. Sharp eyes. No nonsense. I knew her from bar association meetings. We'd served on a panel together 2 years before. She glanced at the docket, then at me. Good morning, counselor. Good to see you again. I nodded. Your Honor. Then she turned to Jessica. And good morning, Ms. Parker. I believe you clerked under Judge Navarro? He and I went to law school together. Jessica smiled, confident. He sends his regards, the judge continued. And his letter. The smile faltered. Judge Brennan opened the evidence packet. My submissions. The counter motion. The sealed letter. She read in silence. 2 minutes. 3. Marcus tried to speak. Your Honor, if I may— You may not. She kept reading. Then she looked up. Counselor Hale, your client reported an income of $95,000 on his financial disclosure. That's correct, Your Honor. His employer reports $142,000. Effective 6 months ago. Silence. Explain. Marcus opened his mouth. Nothing came out. My ex shifted in his seat. Judge Brennan turned to Jessica. Ms. Parker, you signed an affidavit attesting to his financial hardship. Were you aware of this discrepancy? Jessica's face went white. I trusted what he told me. Did you verify it? No, Your Honor. The judge closed the file. Joint legal custody remains in place. Primary physical custody stays with Ms. Torres. Petitioner's request is denied. She looked at my ex. You will pay child support calculated on your actual income, $142,000 annually. Retroactive to the date of this filing. Additionally, sanctions in the amount of $8,500 for material misrepresentation. She turned to Jessica. Ms. Parker, your testimony is stricken from the record due to credibility concerns. One tap of the gavel. We're adjourned. I stood, collected my files. I didn't look at them. I didn't need to. The fallout was swift. Marcus called me that afternoon. Professional. Quiet. My client would like to negotiate a consent order. No further modifications for 3 years. No appeals. Agreed, I said. Drafted and send it over. He did. I signed. So did my ex. That was it. No drama, no fight. Just a signature and a boundary. Jessica scrubbed her Instagram that night. The cookie photo disappeared. The comments vanished. Mutual acquaintances stopped reaching out to her. Word travels fast in small legal circles. My son came home the next weekend. We sat on the couch. I asked how he was feeling. I knew Dad was lying, he said. But I didn't want to hurt anyone. I pulled him close. You never have to choose. And you never have to lie to protect someone who's lying to you. I'll always fight fair. I promise. He nodded. I know, Mom. We started therapy together. Just a few sessions to process everything. He's good now. Happy, safe. Professionally, things shifted too. That month I got 3 referrals. All from attorneys who'd heard about the case. Not because I publicized it. I didn't. But people talk. And respect spreads quietly. I was invited to speak on a family law panel 6 months later. I talked about documentation, boundaries, the difference between power and control. Power is loud. Control is quiet. Receipts don't need to shout. My ex paid the first support check on time. In full. He's paid everyone since. We don't speak unless it's about our son. And that's fine. Jessica left the rival firm. Moved into transactional law. Away from family court. I ran into her once. At a continuing legal education seminar. We made eye contact across the room. No words. Just a brief nod. Some battles don't end with explosions. They end with quiet exits and locked doors. I still keep records. Every email. Every text. Every promise. Not because I'm paranoid. Because I'm prepared. And because the truth doesn't need theatrics. It just needs evidence. Receipts aren't about revenge. They're about truth. And truth doesn't need to shout. So here's my question for you. Would you have stayed silent or brought the receipts? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this story hit home, if you believe in boundaries over drama and dignity over revenge, hit that subscribe button. Because every week I bring you real stories of people who fought back with facts, not fury. This has been a fictionalized dramatization and is not legal or financial advice. Thanks for watching. And remember, the best defense is a well-organized file cabinet.